Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing God of War Ragnarok. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Zarel. Let's get to it. Alright, so today we are considering our options in God of War. But before we get to that, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and ring that bell to be notified of all future episodes as soon as they go live. So let's get into it. So we were on a quest to go and find Tyr, the god that was, or giant that was killed by a god, and it turns out the reports of his demise were greatly exaggerated. He was actually still alive, but a prisoner of Odin. We rescued him, and without knowing exactly what to do next, we went and figured out that we should go check out Groa's prophecy in Alfheim once again. So the mural that was at the top of the temple was possibly the clue that we needed to figure out what we need to do next. We brought Tyr with us. Unfortunately, Tyr has become a pacifist. He no longer wants to be known as a god of war. He wants to, just live whatever is left of his long life in peace and harmony with other living creatures, which was sorely tested when we went to Alfheim and on our return from Alfheim. So now we have to figure out what to do next. And nothing says let's stew over what's going on and what's happened than with a stew. Brock was quite upset that there was a bunch of vegetables in it. And now Atreus and Kratos, surprise, are arguing again. Atreus says, well, Mom had us go on this whole quest. I can't believe she would have us do all this for nothing. Kratos says, she wants you and I want you to be safe. A very serious parental concern, which continues. Kratos is basically saying, don't be reckless. I am not that youngster that I used to be, where I feel like I can tear down the entire establishments with my bare hands. And now, of course, Atreus is upset because Kratos doesn't want to call him Loki, doesn't want to call him the champion. And Atreus is irate. The dwarves' ability to walk between realms is quite unusual. Sindri popping up in his room like that is very unusual. Best advice ever. Let's hear it. Sleep. And Sindri is the germaphobe. And there it is. He's going to go sanitize his gauntlet now. Alright. So is Atreus going to take off and try to figure something out? Oh, nope. Looks like he's actually going to take advice from someone. And Ironwood was the place. It was kind of like the sanctuary of the giants. A mythical place that was named after The densest wood known to man, the only wood that does not float. So initially when I heard ironwood, I thought it was a thing, not a place. You can certainly see my confusion when I heard the term first used. The trees ironwood actually grow very, very slowly, which is probably one of the main reasons why they are so dense. Oh, and now we have like these visions, ghosts from the past. Some of his sooner forgotten words and actions when he was younger, just in case you weren't sure that he grew. You see these guys, little people's little problems. Yes, memories, and not the nice ones.
What do you want?
All his anger and frustration. And that had eventually, in the previous game, caused him to get very ill. I'm sure, or I'm not sure exactly how that worked, but it was quite the conundrum for Kratos to navigate.
I gotta get out of here.
Alright, so in more sand, but it's kind of like, it's almost, kind of like dreamlike. I was going to say almost like eroding away. Wow, that's not spooky at all. His dream self jumping off into the abyss. Oh, now he's stuck. We can do whatever we want.
Please wait. Please.
Ooh, that's not good.
Why is this happening?
Even got hurt. Much better knife than Mother's. Now they ran off. For some reason. And now almost like waking up in a whole different environment. So where did we wander off to? A very fantastical place. Almost like underwater. Some of the plants look like they would be right at home in a reef. That's basically what it looks like. It looks like a forest, if a forest looked like a reef.
Okay, guess I'll see you around the other side.
Alright, so we're following this wolf. I mean, we know that Atreus talks to animals. We don't necessarily
Where am I?
know exactly what they're saying.
Oh,
He doesn't, transcribe what he's hearing,
where are we going?
but we
Got it.
understand the intent, at least.
I was having the weirdest dream and just kind of woke up here.
Having the weirdest dream, then I woke up here.
Any idea how I got here?
So he thinks that it's maybe ironwood.
I'm here.
And we're picking up crafting materials, so I'm guessing that it's going to carry over. So we should keep our eyes open for anything that might be
Scent?
hanging around.
Oh, that might be
Man, there's a whole
Fenrir's.
pack of wolves now.
Wish he were here to meet you.
Wolf must have spelled another wolf on me, on Atreus, and asked about it and said, "Oh, it must be Fenrir." Could have been the other two.
There's a lot
I
of
don't
you
know why
walking around.
the sled dogs are getting short shrift here in God of War Ragnarok.
What's that smell? The air here, it's...
The
I
air
don't know.
here is sweeter,
Sweeter?
maybe.
Maybe it's these trees.
So Atreus is
Ah!
obviously considering himself
You
to
tell me
be
you can't
a
beat me.
the champion, the Loki, the whatever,
That's a joke,
and he wants to
right?
pursue it. Still that wide-eyed youngster,
I've never seen a
but at the
forest like
same
this.
time doesn't necessarily realize the full impact of what he's asking for, which I think is why,
Through here?
in no small part, Kratos is against it. Like in its entirety. He doesn't want Atreus to have anything to do with it. He doesn't want him to be Loki. He doesn't want him to be the champion. He's already had his share of being talked about in prophecy and history, and he doesn't want it anymore. Oh, so he came out on a clearing with a painting,
I'm not finished with it yet.
almost like the powder paints, like a chalk painting or chalk mural.
Paint is made from the bark of the ironwood trees.
Made from the
Absorbs
bark
the forest so that the paint remembers too.
of the ironwood
Memories
trees.
of the past, of the future.
Yeah. So she obviously made the painting of
I didn't
this
get it well.
encounter. Sheepish grin.
Oh, it's really you.
Oh, it's really you. Yep, it's
You
me.
know who I am? What's wrong?
I've been waiting my whole life for this moment.
Been waiting my whole life for it's like, are you gonna let me in on the little secret?
Huh. You look weirder than I
You look
imagined.
weirder than I imagined.
Oh,
Yikes.
Sorry. Um, was that mean?
Yeah, it was mean.
Damn it. I'm already messing this up.
I'm already
It's just
messing
you're
this
the
up.
first person that I've talked to in a very long time. And weird can be good.
Weird can be good.
thanks.
It's like, thanks, I think.
Let's start over. I'm Angeloda. You must have a lot of questions.
So
Yeah.
we
A lot.
have
You'll get your answers soon enough.
the two A's, Angerboda
Well, some of them.
and Atreus. Just need one more and it'll be
When you said
AAA.
you
Alright,
knew
so now we
my
know
answer,
that this is
You'll get your
Ironwood.
answers soon enough.
right?
Is that not your name?
No.
And we're on
It
the
is my name.
main campaign path, or the path. Explore Ironwood with her and her paint.
Oh.
So she has some skills or magic that
This way.
come
So
from the
where am
paint,
I?
or the paint is
This
imbued
fog?
because she has magic,
Little bit
whatever the case may
more
be.
interesting. Still, you're
She's
good.
magic. We'll just boil it down to that. I am always impressed with the environmental design and visual just impact
So ironwood wasn't a real
Like,
place.
you don't even have to do anything, go anywhere, you just look around.
Giants if he doesn't think that
You could
except
spend an hour just looking around,
that's what
looking at the different details. Ah. So at the beginning of this, we didn't have access to our bow, our weapons. We could only pick stuff up. Now that we have our weapons, now we can shoot these. Okay, if I can actually shoot. These vases, look for chests, etc.
What's that?
So that we can pick up some extra hack silver, which we know
Supposed to be.
is not a lot, but I'd rather have what little that they're willing to give rather than not have it and then be short a little bit at some point down the road.
preserve what I can.
So why are we taking the low road?
My destiny is to tell you yours.
And why is she taking the high road? Oh, and there's enemies here too. Put that weapon to good use. Alright, he's stunned. Is that it? Nope. From almost out of nowhere, it's like, oh, there's more guys to have to deal with. Luckily, she's my Atreus in this venture.
I don't think I've ever seen someone fight a jogger that.
Thank you.
Much like Sindri was previously.
So,
In, where were we?
Surviving Fimbulwinter.
Jotunheim?
Wait, is that a thing around here? Did you know about it?
Maybe. Anyway, wherever we were. Actually, Midgard, I think it was. Doesn't really matter. Sindri was helping us out.
I'll be up above you, but keep going the way you're
I'll tell you, I feel the Atreus battles, when you're in direct control of Atreus, are a little bit easier than the Kratos battles. They're a little bit more straightforward. At least they have been. As we go along, as we get more things unlocked, that may change.
I wonder what Brock and Sindri would think of that.
Yeah, that's some giant chainmail.
Kinda like uncles.
I do? You Midgard giants are strange.
They're
You Midgard giants are strange.
Yappa! Can't believe there are nightmares there too.
Nightmares, at least so it's not an exploding nightmare. I like how he runs up and punts him. Alright, let's see. We need to progress. Obviously, if it wasn't that direction, it's got to be this direction. And, of course, keep our eyes open for any loot that might be laying around, or chests, etc. Or, yep, gotta use my sonic arrow. Or things hidden behind other things.
You like breaking stuff?
It's just something my father. You know what? Never mind.
Buckets hanging from the ceiling. I mean, it's not just looking left and right. You have to look up and down so that you don't miss out on anything. Basically anything. Ah, there we go.
Looking good.
Thanks. Wait. What?
Traversal tool to get across, because we can't obviously jump that. Ah, there's something, but there's something else that's going to attack us, so... I'm not a big fan of Atreus' dodge. Kind of does a little swizzle dance move. Spin around. Like, of the two of them, Kratos and Atreus, I would assume Atreus would be find it easier to, you know, do the roll and the more acrobatic stunts rather than Kratos. But hey, man, old man's
I'm
in
good.
shape.
I met another living giant. Maybe one who holds my destiny.
What?
Sorry. I'm just really excited to talk to you.
Okay.
Ah, runic summon. So while we have control of Atreus, he has his own runic attacks. So Kratos has a light runic attack, heavy runic attack, and then there's like a attribute.
Everything's okay, right?
I don't know what else you would call it.
I'm just in a magical force that shouldn't exist. Talking to another giant.
The first one you probably get that was that attribute was increase your melee. There's also one that gives you a rage burst, and they have relatively long cooldowns. But it's obviously something that you want
Whoa!
Gotcha.
to use when it's available.
Thanks.
Runic attacks are those
Getting the
like
hang of things here.
clutch
Where are we going?
abilities that you can use
Or prophecies. Thought you might
to
like
do a little bit extra damage where
Where are your
you
parents?
need it.
They're not around.
Where are your parents?
I know you have a lot of questions, but not this one. Okay?
I'm sorry.
It's the island of, it's the Lost Boys and Peter Pan. That was a grab from up top. Yeah, like I know it's not very much, but you know, just on this level, ooh, that's a big guy.
Tell me when.
I probably got 100 hack silver so far. That is a heavy enemy. Ah, okay, so I can hit square to ask for her to attack. He's stunned. Ooh, wasn't enough to put him out though. I was getting attacked from behind. Animals. There we go. Got the heavy. There we go. Unfortunately, Atreus doesn't have the armor that you can get health back like Kratos does. And there's a whole bunch of...
Thanks. You too.
It's like those color runs. People throwing powdered paint all over the place.
Help me with this?
Kratos, lift it up.
Sure.
Yeah, these big boulders are probably 500 to 1,000 pounds a piece. Maybe more even. These two giants can do it, or Kratos can do it by himself.
Whoa.
Does Kratos have all the brawn?
Race you across?
Yeah, look at that.
What?
Go!
Okay.
Some giant pieces.
I can slow down.
It's interesting how really the only giants that we've seen have been relatively small. Human size, I should say. Tyr is bigger, but I wouldn't necessarily say that he's, you know, a giant. But now that we're here, we see this evidence of these like gigantic proportions where, you know, maybe giants were gigantic.
You beat me.
Had a race and
I already knew the facts.
did not win.
I like cheating.
But she kind of admitted it was cheating because she already knew how to get there the quickest way. Yeah, never stop looking. Hold square. And Angerboda will summon a falcon. It's always interesting adding a little bit of extra utility. Oop, got hit from behind. I was kind of hoping she would hit him, distract him long enough. Yeah, since Atreus is mainly a ranged fighter. There we go. Tatzel worms. They're kind of like leopards and caterpillars? Alright, so that's the summon the ibex. It'll pop back up eventually. You can see it, well, during a battle you can see it on the bottom left-hand side. Your light and your heavy runic attacks when they are charging or are recharged. And it says in the menu how quickly they recharge. And as you get more tiers, or at least runic or cooldown tiers, that time will decrease across the board.
Isn't that Vanya magic?
Where do you think they learned it from?
You know, the way
Here we are.
that these things are presented is just very nice, almost cinematic in nature. Angerboda's treehouse,
Wait, is this my
because
farm?
it's in a tree stump.
See it again.
For many
Okay.
giants.
Alright. And I have a feeling I'm going to be interrupting her in the middle of saying
I'm ready.
her little stories. So these are the murals related to Loki.
I've seen this before. Where we scattered Mother's ashes. It was on the wall. Everything had happened already. It's the way it said.
So this happened at the end of God of War, what he's talking about here, but now
My bag.
what's in the bag? Who is this guy?
No. No. It's not right. That can't be what happened.
And then looks like Kratos and Atreus and
No, no.
Odin.
This isn't real. Ironwood's not real. Ungar's not real. None of this is real.
And then his emotions took control and he shapeshifted into a wolf this time instead of a bear.
It's all alright. It'll be okay. Look at me. Hey, hey, hey. 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 Hey, calm down. Calm down. It's fine.
It's interesting how he's doing, how Atreus, at least recently, I don't know if it's the entire time, whenever he does magic, his eyes start to glow. And apparently his linguistic skills are magical in nature. When he was talking to Jorgmender, the world worm,
It's okay. You're fine.
his eyes started glowing to the point where Sindri had mentioned it.
It happens to you.
Happens to everyone.
To everyone,
Not the wolf part, but getting scared about your future.
that cannot be my future. It says I serve Odin and my father dies. There's just no way.
Look, this is the only way things turn out. The sooner you accept that, the better.
This is the only way they turn out.
Oh, shit. I was mean to.
Hmm.
Just forget about that now. Forget the future. Forget Loki.
He's not the
Giant.
typical hero.
You're clearly coming into some powers that
You know,
didn't
sometimes you have these stories or games or whatever where the heroes, even young, they're like, okay, if this is my fate, then I'll do what I can in the time that I have left, or whatever. Like, I'll do what I can, but I accept this as my fate. I'll work against it, but I know it's coming. Whereas he's like, no. More of a typical teenager. Now we know, obviously, Kratos
Loki, I need your help.
hasn't aged the same as like a normal human, so I'm assuming
Here,
Atreus is the same way.
Where are we going?
we're gonna get some food, plant some seeds, my everyday stuff. But first,
That unless something else happens, that he'll have an exceptionally long life. All right, what is this bag of? What is this? Leaves?
Loki, meet Yala.
Hi, Yala.
And you better drop it because that's food.
Oh wow. She's a big girl. Wow.
She's a big girl.
Come on up.
Come on up.
Good girl. Ganga.
So, I guess you know about the whole champion of the...
Jotnar? Yeah.
Champion of the
Want me
Jotnar.
to call you that instead?
No, Loki's good.
Sure. Champ.
So she obviously feels very comfortable calling us Loki
We need
or
to collect some
champion.
fruit. If we follow the river, we should find some.
It's nice that we have this, once again, mode of transportation.
Flowers over there.
Silence.
Okay.
No, that's what they're called. They only grow in Jotunheim.
I don't think we'd be able to
Grandma used
go
take naps in that
on
home with
foot,
Grandma and her
not
family.
like the
It was one of the only places she found
the snow or the sand. I think this is closer to uh, being on a boat than anything. You have control of the boat, you have control of Yala, so you can go around. They even had some stuff that was in the
Who's it for?
river.
Gotta eat, don't they?
I mean, they even call it a river, so
Never seen fruit like this before.
They're called green bulbs. My mother made me eat one every day.
we're
For strength.
talking and
They
talking about
taste
green
terrible.
bulbs.
Seems like they work, though. Excuse me?
Now,
Sounds
Angerboda
like she likes it.
is the only other giant that
Could
Sure.
you grab that one?
Atreus has met. The only, besides Tyr, who was obviously a disappointment.
Got it. Those wolves. You take care of them?
I do. They're good friends.
Can't wait to meet more of them.
Obviously, Angerboda has a lot of
How many more of these
furry
wolves?
friends.
You in a hurry to leave?
She's kind of like the
Gotta save my father's life now, apparently.
Loki, we have time.
crazy cat lady, except she has wolves and
I
a
can
giant
shoot 'em.
yak and whatever
You should
else.
be up there too. Ooh,
Wait.
And as far as we know, she's out here by herself.
me help.
Thanks.
Alright, so we're harvesting
You're welcome.
green bulbs for the wolves. Alright, so we took the shortcut.
After you.
I don't think we had a choice. I don't think we would have been able to
I know we're
get
off
through the
track,
opening
but
on the
maybe
back there. It looks like
we
a
should
pearl
talk.
there, but there's no way to get it.
I wouldn't
So
dream
I'm
of
guessing
it.
it's just
Cost me my father.
visual.
If I learned anything from my mother, it was that these things have a way of coming true, one way or another.
I learned from my father.
So now she's talking about how,
Close your heart to it. But I
you know,
can't.
you have a prophecy, you just need to go with it. And Atreus says, my father taught me to close my heart to it. Basically deny it. He's a prophecy denier.
Can't reach it.
Can't reach it. Oh, there it is. Well, Kratos is certainly one to try to change prophecy. And prophecy is definitely, you know, slippery, where you see just enough that you can jump to conclusions. It doesn't spell out exactly what's going to happen.
My father wasn't helping me figure out my destiny. When Odin and I were alone,
Ooh,
he offered
when
to teach
Odin
me.
was alone with you,
Alone with Odin, he could have easily killed you.
he could have killed you.
Not that easily.
I mean, not that easily. Agree to disagree, Atreus. Agree to disagree.
Let's head up to that ledge.
Yeah, you can't go through. Bunch of planks in the way. I would have thought that she would have cleared that out.
We don't need it, but we can grab it anyway.
How do you know when it's right?
My parents taught me. It's a delicate guessing game.
It's a delicate guessing game when it's right.
Nothing that's gonna happen then.
I'm sure of the big.
It's either not too bad or it's terrible. But it's never awesome.
Oh, now let's get hit under that wall.
Alright, so we need to open up this log
Let's do it.
so Yala can get through. There we go. We're going to continue on. Just trying to scout ahead, see if I can see anything. I mean, there's lots of bends and turns, so
Getting these ingredients.
why does she always drop behind me and then
You do this every day?
If I don't,
walk over me?
Seems like a lot for someone your age.
our age.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the
How
last
old do you think she
conversations
is?
I had with my father, he said he was sorry he couldn't protect me. That I'd have to grow up so fast.
At least you got an apology.
Dads have a way with words, huh?
Oof, at least you got an apology. That's some shade on Kratos. I'll tell you what, I do like that they put
Nice view.
a little effort into
It gets better.
making it look like Atreus has a hard time opening the chest. And the first chest that he opens, he tries to open it like Kratos with his fist. Ugh, and he nearly broke it. Broke his fist, not the chest. This is a very fantastical realm. I mean, not like,
You know,
except for Midgard.
Odin needs you for
They're all pretty fantastical in one way or another.
Looks like. Maybe I'm tricking Odin.
Oh, is trickery something you
Maybe
do?
I'm tricking
Well, I asked my
Odin.
dad a couple times.
Oh, a master of deception.
Master of Deception. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Green bulbs go here in this bucket.
Green bulbs go in there.
If I need to, like, fix my bow or something, can I?
Of course. I've got
If I
supplies
need
in the tool
to
chest over
fix
there.
my
Right away.
bow.
I left something in the tool chest for you. I'll meet you over by
Ooh,
Helen
she's
in
got
the
something.
Is it okay to hang out around here?
Let's take a
as
look.
long as you want.
Jotnar's champion garb. I should take a look at that. Jotnar bow. I'll put the bow on. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check us out on social media, and thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you next time.
And Gabota, earlier you said the Udengard can be disorienting. But what is it?
You know Amir?
The first of our people. He died a long time ago, right? Odin killed him.
Yes. Odin destroyed
What's
everything
next?
that... Well, now's when I usually harvest the Vis roots I mix with them. I mean, unless you still want to leave.
No, I can stay. I want to stay.